Today, we are going to be talking about the choices we have. And this is continuing with attitude, with a positive attitude. The choices that we make is what determines the quality of our life. And what happens is that we are usually confronted with external circumstances. And those circumstances, most of the time, are not under our control. They are uncontrollable. And what happens then is that we sometimes let those circumstances control us. And it should be the other way around. We should react in a way that our attitudes decides what to do, and we take our own decision. When we do that, when we respond to those circumstances in a with a positive attitude, then we're able to get out of that damage that is being caused. And when we understand that there might be only a setback, that it might be a temporary interruption of what we're doing, and it might do a lot of damage. But if we continuously stay with that attitude of getting out, of getting damage as least as possible, but knowing that we will get out of that eventually with that positive attitude. And it happens to so many people. They get sick for some reason, and they lose their trust, their values, or they get they lose their jobs, and the same thing happens. They are not worthy. They feel unworthy. They let the circumstances control them. But we have choices. We always have choices. Even if we think, because there is that internal voice within us that it's the strongest, the loudest, and the most destructive. And that's what we need to learn to block. And there are also other voices that come from the external world that they are destructive as well. They are telling us that we should stay in the status quo. But we know that we start in the status quo, we are not going to succeed. Getting out of the status quo allow us to succeed in our business, to succeed in our life. And one and we always have choices. We must take those choices that we want, not the choices that are determined by the circumstances or by the people that are trying to control us. Let's make one of those choices to be happiness, but be realistic about happiness. Don't exaggerate that happiness, because sometimes we put so many emphasis on happiness that we go above and beyond what is required. We have to be reasonable to that. But that happiness comes from within us, from our joy. And yes, joy might come from other external events, but it is still our joy. Make that decision, make that choice to be happy, and let no one steal that joy from you. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, stay proactive, and happy. Goodbye.